Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the Let's Build a Chatbot in C# using Agent Framework. We're still doing Blazor Server, but are slowly getting all the features in. And in the last part, we added the user authentication. And we did that essentially to do this video. Because now we want to actually add user memory so the user can have personalized context and memories built in. So let's first see it and then go into the code. So right now I have a completely empty system, and if I say hi, nothing much happens other than what we normally see, and I can ask, what is my name? And the system don't know. Now I will be able to say, my name is Rasmus. I live in Denmark. And my favorite color is blue. If I do this, it will of course greet me back with that. But also you can see here in red, it says it added 3 memories. User name is Rasmus. Lives in Denmark. Favorite color is blue. So if I take a new chat and says hi, it will now use this memory in order to be able to say my name. And I can say, what do you know about me? And it should be able to list up that my name is Rasmus, I'm from Denmark, and our favorite color is blue. I can also go in and say, forget my favorite color. And update that I moved to the UK. I do that. After it's thoughts, it will now show that I added live in UK. Favorite color is blue. It forgot that I removed that I live in Denmark. So behind the scenes, it's still a little LM. Sometimes it can do things wrong, but we can tell it here. Another thing I put in is this custom instructions over here. In that we can go in, for example, and say, speak like a pirate. That is probably something you won't do normally, but you would normally put in that, or here's my preference around this, here's my preference around this, if you want something that are hard and fixed and not just memories that are being extracted on the fly. So if we do that and say hi, we now speak in pirate speak. So this goes above everything. So how is this done, and where is it stored? So if we look in here and we look at the changes in the code, let's go through them. The first thing we have done is we have made a new model called user personalization, which can handle custom instructions and memories. And for that, we have a new service to do that, where we store them in a user JSON file under a new folder. And if we look in that folder, it's here. We have the personalized file, which looks like this, where it have, oh, that's an old one. Let me get rid of that. There we go. So it knows the user's name is Rasmus and the user lives in Denmark. and the customer instructions. So this is all we do. We could make some GUI that could add memories without doing it via LLM, or remove them again or reset them and so on. So that is all this service do. Can get personalizations and can save the personalizations. That service is of course set up in dependency injection, and then we use those that personalization. For the right sidebar, it's quite simple in that we just put in that new GUI for that, and I put the logic behind in a code behind file. In the chatbot, we have this new area of having the user memories that we saw in red, so we can show it to the user. That's all depending if you want to show it to the user or not, but it's nice to tell the user what actually was saved, what was not saved, and so on. And behind the scenes, if we'll have a look, we use the user personalization service. We save the memory update along the way. And the most interesting parts is, of course, the AI parts. So first of all, we make a memory extractor agent. And you saw it failed a little. That's because it's a very, very low model, because I want it to be as fast as possible. But it's a balance of how intelligent it is to get rid of memories and add them again. But it's just essentially getting an instruction saying, look at the user's message and find out new facts. Facts can be names, places, likes, dislikes, or anything the user prefix would remember this. Or there might not be any memories. So we make this agent, and then we add an AI context provider. If you're not familiar with this, I have dedicated videos about it, but I will explain what it does. But before we do that, we can just see that it also gets a notification back, and that is the one that gets the updates of a memory. And a memory update consists of memories to add and memories to remove. So that takes care of everything but the context provider. But the context provider is a system in Agent Framework where you can go in and on the fly, while a call is being made, you can provide data upfront before the system, and after the system you can extract something from the messages that was generated. So, and that's what we do, because we can see here that the personalization system is nowhere to be found in any of the code that we actually call. That's because it's inside this context provider. So let's have a look at the context provider. So for the context provider to work, we give it the memory instructor, and we give what user it is we're logged in as right now, just like we did with all the other things. We're giving it the user personalization service, and we have this notification so we can update the GUI. And inside these, you basically have two methods. You have a provide AI context and a store AI context. So provide is before send to the LLM. Do we want to add anything additionally? In our case, the memories. And after the fact, would you like to, based on what you that's just been sent, save anything into some custom system, in this case, our memory system. So let's first see how we provide new stuff. So given that we have some information in a personalization, we can on the fly enhance the instructions by giving AI context. So what will actually happen is we have our normal instructions, and these are being put on the fly into those instructions as well. So if we have any custom instructions, we essentially just add those custom instructions to, let me show you. Essentially, we are enhancing this instruction in the main agent. So we are adding personal instructions and whatever it says, speak like a pirate, or whatever we have put in. And if we have any memories in, meaning if there's any of these, we also just add them to the instructions. So we add personal memories, being one memory at a time, so it knows all the memories. And then we're just essentially just giving back that context. Agent Framework would take care of putting that together with the other instructions. So we have essentially instructions. In this case, will be you are a chatbot answering questions. Speak like a pirate. User memories are user's name is Rasmus and lives in the UK. And if we give that information, we have the AI can respond to what is my name and where do I live and so on and so forth. And we'll do that in Pirate Speak because it's been instructed to do so. The other part of this is the store, and that's where we actually use the AI. So again, we get the personalizations we already have, and if we have none, we just create a new personalization object. Then we go into the chat message that has just been sent to the LLM and get the last message back from us, meaning if it was where do I live, or my favorite color is blue, let's say that was what we said. It then makes a little input for the memory extractor, say, you know the following about the user already, and we give it all the memories. So we tell it, hey, this is what we already know about the user. And we then gave it the instructions, extract other facts that is not any of these. We send that and we use a structured output with a memory update, which had the added memory and the removed memory. And if any memories were added or updated, it could also be that we just said hi and there's nothing to add or update, or what is the capital of France, or whatever. And if there's nothing to do, we don't really use any memory and then spend any time on it. But if there's any memories, we update the personalization, either add or remove the memories, and we then save the memories and send a notification that some memories were changed. Because if there was no change, we don't need the red text to go there. And that's actually everything there is to it. This can just be dropped in almost any system and just provide. And we can, of course, use bigger models, smaller models, do better prompt instructions in order to actually be able to extract the data. You could say that only extract data where the user says, remember this, or whatever setup you wanted to do. Or you could even take this entirely part away of the store thing and say it's something that the user should do in a GUI and then just provide it on the fly instead. But that's everything there is to it for user memory. See you in the next one.